Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. Evacuations underway at Supreme Court's front steps following discovery of suspicious package. Yes, currently, multiple law enforcement are presently evacuating numerous individuals in response to suspicious package discovered on the steps leading up to the Supreme Court in Washington, D.C. This comes amid protests over the court's decision that affirmative action in school is unconstitutional. Police are actively investigating the situation while ongoing evacuations are being carried out.
It's yucky.
It is, and man, it's a yucky time. You know, plain and simple. The heat wave has collapsed lives. It's made people collapse, and it's brutal where we are, as you can see. You know, if you're in Oklahoma, it's scorching. Same thing with Kansas, Texas, Arkansas. You look at Missouri. It's brutal, guys. It is brutal. Yet we're talking to, I talk to my buddy Joe every day. He's in PA. 59 degrees is your high temperature. Look at California. It's below average. So yeah, we see record highs. We see record lows too. We see extremes. We see a jet stream that looks completely manipulated, if you want my opinion.
Well, so many things are being manipulated. Like, we are trying like heck to get this video up, and this is our 5th try because I think we're covering some really important stuff, and it's just totally frustrating.
Yeah, there's stuff in this that is a major operation that's currently underway, and we know this because this is how it was in May of 2019. When 6 months later, 7 months later, you know what happened. You know what happened. And we have extreme weather spelling disaster for Chile's beekeeping industry. Bees are so important to the cycle of life on the planet. And of course, we're going to have this. Extreme weather events, including significant floods and wildfires, have wreaked havoc on Chile's bee colonies. Yeah, so the avocado, the almond crops, worst in a decade. We're seeing this worst in a decade, worst in a century everywhere around the globe. And really what's going on is, like here, 75% of the banana crops gone because of Tropical Storm Brett. It's an attack on the food supply. And at the same time, they are prioritizing what comes out of cows' butts over your ability to feed your family.
Well, for them, it's important.
Well, it's all about control. Look at Cincinnati. And this is what I want to get across, and this is what they don't want, is that people are waking up in droves. People have said, you guys are too doom and gloom. Well, look at what's going on the planet. You could stick your head anywhere, and, whether it's in a cave where the sun doesn't shine, whether it's like an ostrich sticking your head in a hole in the ground because you don't want to see what's happening, it's still happening around you, whether you ignore it or not. Again, the world wars happened. The plague upon the land has happened. There's been all sorts of things that happened, whether individuals ignore them or not. The key is waking up enough people to shift the paradigm, get enough people to realize what's going on. And then we can make a change. It really is happening, but we need to double down. We need to do a lot more. See this post? Please don't tell me this is being caused by the wildfires. Something strange is happening. Are they preventing us from seeing something in the sky? Maybe, the dark planet Nibiru. Maybe it's the motherships. What are they, because again, disclosures coming out, and that's coming out real fast. Are they mass poisoning society because we know the truth about the previous big issue upon the world? Look at Cincinnati on 26th, 27th, 28th. Where'd it go? You can't tell me that's healthy. And again, look to the channels. Look to channels like ours and bigger ones. And look at what they're saying. If they are any way normalizing this, I would steer clear. That's just me. If they are normalizing it, I would steer clear. If they're saying, hey, yeah, wow, it's all, carbon based, yeah. issues. We're carbon-based life forms. We are under attack. That's the bottom line. And here you're looking, yeah, family, this isn't normal. People's eyes and throats are burning. People can't breathe. Smell is very synthetic, like chemically produced. Nothing like I've ever smelled before. They're hiding something. There's something they don't want us to see. This is another one. This is a different person. Americans are very possibly being poisoned under the pretense of Canadian wildfires. State of Ohio and talking about Cincinnati. And here's another one. And here's another one. We're being poisoned. People are waking up. Again, think about that. We don't know what's up in the sky. You got these clouds. We see them spewing clouds all day long, every day. You know, if we put the little thing up there of chemtrails, you know, you're going to get your wikis, you're going to get your, what's the truth behind the conspiracy? BBC, like many persistent conspiracies, comes with a kernel of truth. Oh, back in the 50s and 60s, yes, they were sprayed, but they don't now. Yeah, they do. They never stopped. You know, again, hundreds of times declassified, even putting biological things in there like viruses and bacteria. Well, viruses are really interesting because they're not alive, they're not dead, they're actually AI.
And you know, we're always talking to you guys about the the controllers and the way they operate, and understand that they keep themselves separate from us, but they act as one. They have one thing in mind, and that is to gain control, and they will do that, and they stick together. And this is where we have to look and see, how are the controllers getting things done? We have to look at our end of things, because there are far many more of us than there are of them, and we are very much like a flock of birds. We are like a flock of sheep, and we're just sort of kind of ebb and flow and go where everyone else is going. But keep in mind, they are on the outskirts. They are making those boundaries and basically telling us where we need to be going, and we have to stop that. And you know, it's like they work together. They have their children go to different schools. They go to different schools than we go to, and really we are not in it, but they have a select group of people that very systematically they keep this going, and they keep us hurting. So this is why we need to cover the yuckiness, because we have to stand in the middle of it with a blowhorn and speak, so that maybe someone, if they want a different way of living, they know there's a different way of doing things, and they know that they're not crazy. Things really are not okay. And if you're having to smell this stuff and go through this stuff, if you can, try a little charcoal, take a little charcoal, that's going to help. And also I would get some extra air purifiers if it were me.
If you look at a population density map, you could see the areas that are being hit and affected by this are some of the most densely populated in the country. So, you know, a lot of bang for the buck, so to speak, as we look at, you know, this horrible situation that is impacting people's lives, and it's actually bringing it over into Europe, which is also very densely populated. In fact, more densely populated than the U.S. So facts show how weather winds are redirected, manipulated, and modified by those who play God upon the people. Geoengineering, weather manipulation, weather warfare. It's hideous and unacceptable. Sorry, you guys. You know, it's got us riled up because we're trying to get this out to you, which I know you guys understand. But what I want to show is just how many people are waking up, and then this is what they don't want you to see. You know, what do we see here? We see a rainbow. A rainbow symbolizes many things, does it not? And especially one thing that's been a bone of contention. This is right where this video's gotten stopped every single time when we're talking about this. It's also a cloud that's wafting down to the ground, and we see, this is Denver Airport, by the way, children suffering. It looks like they are passing on. Looks like mothers lamenting the loss of their children. Yeah, absolutely. As peace is dying, the dove is pierced by a sword that's actually very common in many traditions, but especially the Middle East. And, you know, it is a sword that is not off of what we see a lot with the crescent moon and the symbol of Islam. And here we see a obvious building that has been the source of it's been bombed by war is what it feels like, and this is obviously war. Now, a little bit reminiscent of an AK. It's definitely more AK-ish than M16-ish in quality. Are they denoting the bricks? It has a very, very Nazi-ish feel with the eagle up here. And the color is one of plague and pestilence, absolutely. This gas-masked, militarized individual with this type of sword keeps coming through to Cindy. The guides keep showing this. And so, again, it makes me think about Alois Erlmeiler, who said that when Russia goes, they go, and they go straight across Eastern Europe, and they're only stopped when there's some sort of chemical agents released, right at the border with France and Belgium, Netherlands, and there's like a dead zone there that is just inescapable. Is this what this is referencing? Is this what's it's Is it referencing what's happening right now? Meanwhile, we have Tiffany's on fire, the famous jewelry store, right next to 45 Tower. Yeah, not kidding. Tiffany's is in many ways the sign of everything that's wrong in this world when you have people that will spend millions on jewels. And again, we're sold on, in the Western world, capitalism, and hey, it's all a game. If you can acquire more, that's great. If people are starving in the world, that's their fault, their problem. That's, one way of looking at it. And then you'll have people that say, well, you sound like a communist. No, communist countries are the same thing. You have these oligarchs, you have these elite, you have the richest of the rich who live opulent lives, and you have most people that are downtrodden. Again, every ism that they give us, whether it's capitalism or communism, is one of their systems. No, we got to think outside those boxes. Outside those boxes. And then you got this local farmer. This is in Oklahoma. In the middle of the night, planes came and sprayed his farm with poison, and they killed his plants. He estimated he lost about 100 grand. He's feeding about 100 families from his farm. This is the beauty of these little organic farms, which we know personally. We meet and we talk with them, often. And, it's wonderful and knowing, and the food tastes better. The food we get from the people that are growing it locally, it's way better. I mean, the watermelon I got, fabulous. Watermelon from the store, even though it's, of an heirloom variety, it just didn't taste the same. For one thing, anything that's like, if you're eating seedless watermelons, they're GMO. Don't eat seedless watermelons. That's just my recommendation. Anything that's genetically modified is going to damage your DNA. It's going to cause inflammation. Now, again, they'll say, well, the FDA doesn't think so. The CDC doesn't think you have a... Yeah, sure. Well, how about aspartame? 1974 it came into use. How many people have took it into their body? Now, WHO is saying, you know what? It might cause cancer. It's been 50 years. Now we're going to let you know. By now, it's already saturated so many people's cells and caused so many lives to be lost. But 50 years later, they're going to just admit that it does kind of cause cancer. It's because there's bigger fish to fry, and they're frying them right now. They are frying them. The community stepped up after this happened, and they pulled through. This is what's going to happen. And we've seen this. There's going to be pockets that develop, tight little close-knit tribes of people that come together. They're going to work together. They're going to barter and trade. You can't tax barter and trade. How are they going to tax bartering and trading? They're not. This is going to weaken their power structure. The guides came through last night. Their time is almost done. But again, when an animal is wounded, that's when it's at its most dangerous.
And when relationships are at their very end and there's nothing to lose, that's when usually they pull out all the stops. They just go forward. They do what they need to do because they have nothing left to lose. So it's really a very unsafe situation.
Absolutely. And 40,000 police sent to confront French protesters, 4 times more than resisted during the reform protests. Really what people are starting to realize is, whether these people are Wagner Group, whether they are whatever, French police, Russian police, American police, they're being utilized against the average person. They are supporting the system. They're not supporting democracy. They're not supporting freedom. They're not supporting the republic. They're supporting oppression. This is the big reveal. Astronomers reveal evidence of the universe's background hum. There is a background hum. Wow, no kidding. Astronomers across the world announced on Thursday they found the first evidence of a long theorized form of gravitational wave that create a background hum rumbling through the universe. Just ask the rishis like 10,000 years ago. Om is the sound of the universe. It's the sound of creation. Everything in the manifest universe is a combination of light and sound.
Indeed.
By law, Chinese citizens must install the government spyware anti-fraud app. If it detects you trying to install apps the government disapproves, such as Twitter or cryptocurrency, immediately an alarm gets sent to the police. Then the police will come for you and freeze your bank account. Well, I don't care how innocent you look. If you're supporting the system, you're oppressing humanity. It really is the case. And unfortunately, so many people have been just completely blindsided by the system. They haven't seen it coming. They didn't see it coming. And we can fault them. Or we can say, look, we can't go back. We can't change the clock per se. We can only move forward. We can forgive those that have been misled and move forward together. By the way, the Biden has an unidentified plate behind his back. Maybe it has something to do with an app that they uploaded to him. We kid you not. Here he is. Now this one.
Okay, go ahead. It's been tough.
This is the one. I'll give you guys the link because I don't want to screw up the video again. We're so close to the end. This is the one where he's talking about traveling 80 hours with Xi Jinping, going back to when he was the VP, and Barack couldn't do it because it would have been wrong. But he spent tons of time with Xi. He knows Xi better than anybody. They've traveled the Himalayas. They've done all these things together. That's his best buddy. That says it all right there, right? Him and Xi. Joe and Xi sitting in the tree. Uh-oh. GOP congressman suggests UFOs may be ancient civilization. We are getting so much disclosure. Yes, they are. Yes. Ancient civilizations. Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of years. How much farther advanced in years do you think the Nibiruans are than us, would you say? Is it in the tens, hundreds of thousands, or literally millions?
I think it could go easily into the hundreds of thousands, and they get to understand their history. They know their history, so there's a little bit of a way to track it. But gosh, these are ancient beings, been around for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's all part of the reveal. And also there's the fact that, there are civilizations still here under the ocean, inside the earth, all the above. It is enough to make your head tilt.
And just try to figure stuff out one way or another by looking super cute.
These guys got that down pat.
They sure do.
As always, guys, thank you for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. Please do share these videos far and wide. It's not about the money. We do this, because we view this as our entire purpose for being, is to help the world awaken to all the manipulation, and to make it an easier transition into what's to come. Because again, there's choices to be made. Are we going to be absorbed into the system, or are we going to stay organic and have our own individual freedom to do it our way? And if you want to tilt your head to the left, that's okay. If you want to tilt it to the right, that's okay too.
Yes, that's okay.
God bless and namaste.
Namaste.